Hey, Doug Lucas here. I just got an update from Zeek Rewards, the receivership, and here's a lowdown on what's going on. I'm going to read it for you. One of our contributors, Philip Young, has provided great insights about the receivership's recent communications. Soon, approximately 1,200 subpoenas will be sent to the net winners in Zeek Rewards. These subpoenas will request information about their involvement in the program and likely contain a demand for return of the gains. In our opinion, there's a conflict if a firm represents both the net winners and the net losers. The conflict exists because the net losers want cash pot to be as large as possible for purpose of distribution, i.e., they need the net winners to pay into the pot. On the other hand, the net winners want to maintain their funds. This is normal in sort of matter. Basically, I'm sorry, there's one final update. We made a commitment in day one to maintain your information the strictest confidential, blah, blah, blah. This information solely assesses damages and build a subscription list for the receivership's website. The receivership Zeek liquidation plan on October 8th, Zeek filed what is called the preliminary liquidation plan. In reality, it was more like analysis of the company and status update rather than a liquidation plan. Nevertheless, there were several interesting tidbits buried in the 26-page pleading. There are approximately 2.2 million users in Zeek Rewards system, 1 million of which paid into the program. The receiver recovered $293.7 million in cash for the Zeek receivership estate, plus he has seized 2 commercial properties in North Carolina which Zeek owned free and clear. The value of this real estate is unknown. The receiver indicates that there is at least one foreign bank holding an unknown amount that has not been seized. The receiver has disbursed approximately $56,000 for ordinary operating expenses such as payroll, utility taxes, and he anticipates distribution another $922,000 for operating expenses incurred by Zeek prior to the receivership. This does not include any expenses of the receiver or its legal counsel, which will be very significant. Since the receivership began, the receiver has attempted to deposit over 60,000 payments from Zeek investors, totaling approximately $100 million. Almost 20% of those attempts to deposit were dishonored by banks, primarily because the check maker issued a stop payment on them. The receiver reports in his updates that within all court authority, he is representing these checks for payment and expects all banks to honor those checks. If the receiver goes into some detail about pursuit of clawback claims against the net winners, it is clear that these clawback claims are receiving much immediate attention. The receiver's recent update gives some idea as to the size of the receivership, assures that there should be assets available for distribution to creditors, and allows a glimpse at what the receiver receives to his most pressing duties. As far as what the update means, it means different things to different classes of Zeek participants. What does this mean for the net winners? A net winner is someone who received more money from Zeek in returns than he or she originally invested. For example, if you invested $10,000 into Zeek and receivership and receive distribution of $12,000, you are a net winner on your investment. The receiver preliminary liquidation plan is all bad news for the net winner. Basically, this means if you had a net win, you are going to be asked to pay that back. Often the receiver will negotiate down the aggressive demand. If you receive demand letter from the trustee, you should carefully consider your options. You should immediately pay the trustee demand and avoid future litigation expenses. These are options you should discuss with your legal counsel, especially if you receive demand significant sums of money. What does this mean for the net losers? A net loser, as I was, will use a term in this article, means someone who invested more money into Zeek than he or she received in return. For example, if you invested 10,000 in Zeek but only received distributions of 5,000 in return, you are a net loser on your investment. The receiver's preliminary liquidation plan provides good news, bad news for the net loser. First, the bad news. If you send a payment to your Zeek into Zeek, which you later attempt to freeze or stop payment, chances are that the bank is going to honor that check. The receiver asks for your approval from the court to force banks to honor dishonored checks as many as anticipated. If you attempted to stop the uncashed check, you should contact your bank to determine whether it has been or will be honored. Now for the good news. It seems very likely that there will be significant assets available for distribution to Zeek creditors, including net losers. There is no indication that creditors will be paid in full, but receiver has already collected nearly $300 million before what seems to be rather aggressive litigation, which could result in more assets. While the claim process has yet to be established by the receiver, net losers should begin collecting bank records, credit card records, Zeek statements, and any other documents that will assist them in proving the amount that they lost and suffered as a result of Zeek investments. After all, it will be creditor's duty to prove the losses he or she has suffered. If net loser losses are significant, he may want to consider retaining legal counsel to assist in preparing the proof of claim and supporting documentation. The receiver has offered little guidance on how or when the plans to conduct the claims process. So, to sum this up, if you lost money, like I did in Zeek, you very well likely will be compensated. I read that direct from my email from the attorney's office that is handling the Zeek receivership program. On that note, I hope nobody else is giving money to the group that is retaining lawyers and all that crap. It has been shut down. Zeek is officially done, and it's time to move on. Have a great day, guys, and I would get your Zeek papers ready. It's time to get our money back.